Good day, class. So our lesson today is communication ethics. So this is taken from the course pack I just prepared, the PowerPoint presentation. So the learning outcome of this lesson is to describe the nature, elements, and functions of verbal and nonverbal communication in various multicultural contexts. The focus of this is on ethics or ethical communication. Okay, so we can relate this to the core values that we had in the previous meeting. Ethics is a moral values. Ethics refers to the moral values of good conduct, okay, that guide one's action whether or not they are governed by laws or policies. So in communication, our rhetoric along with our actions creates a sort of person that we are. Thus, all thinking individuals constantly evaluate the words they let out of their mouths. In other words, they are prudent before they speak. They think 1,000 times before they speak, aiming for integrity. Okay, that's actually one of the core values in their language habits. So this is the mark of an ethical communicator. Now, in communication, and this digital age has resulted in current transformations, raising interrelated questions about ethics. Upon browsing our social media account, you are unlikely to encounter immature contents and misleading judgments expressed ubiquitously without any corroboration. So displays of fake news currently proliferate the internet, ignoring all communication ethics. Now, you can read this prompt. So this is a situation of Wanda, the new employee in the company. So she talks to you during breaks and seems very friendly. She tells everyone at work how she loves not only her job but also everyone there. Lately, however, Wanda has been gossiping and badmouthing the same employees when they are not around. She has also revealed some personal information about several colleagues and asked you some very personal questions. So what should you do? Okay, so try to ponder on this. Now, why is ethical communication important? Ethical communication is fundamental to responsible thinking, decision making, and the development of relationships and communities within and across contexts, cultures, channels, and media. So take note, ethics can help you in having a sound decision, in being responsible, and then think, okay, ethical communication enhances human worth and dignity by fostering truthfulness. So facts, fairness or fair, responsibility or being responsible, personal integrity, and respect for self or self-respect and others, while unethical communications threaten the capability or quality of all communication and consequently the well-being of individuals and the society in which we live. So that's how important ethical communication is, so that you're also taught on how to become an ethical communicator, whether in school, in the family, or at work if you're working. Now, let's take a look at the characteristics of communication ethics. So it's very clear in the slide. Okay, to be true, to be relevant, to be accurate and sincere, avoiding language that manipulates, discriminates, or exaggerates, and fair presentation of ideas or fair. So all you have to do is just remember the 4 words: true, relevant, accurate, and then fair. Or you can also include the 5th one, sincerity. So these are the characteristics of communication ethics. Anything that deviates okay, could be blunders. So we have also here what shapes communication ethics. So what influences? So our religious upbringing, philosophical and cultural ideals. That's why also good to know the culture of the person you are talking with. Okay, to be more ethical and respect, their culture. And then we also have here Socrates, Thomas, okay, John Locke. Okay, they have this social contract theory that people in society have an unwritten agreement with one another. Okay, so in a particular community, in a tribe perhaps, they have this unwritten agreement. Okay, so you all have to consider culture, religion, and then the unwritten agreement of the organization. But for most of the organizations, to avoid conflict, okay, there is a manual, okay, policies that they have to follow. But sometimes some agreements are unwritten. But to be more transparent, there are manuals and policies that need to be followed. Okay, next. We also have here the principles. So you can read the different principles. The commitment principle, okay, the greatest good principle, the situation ethics. Ethical aspects consider the complexities in the communication process that discerns what to disclose and not to disclose. Yes, so let's say we can have an example. Now, if you hear a negative story about the person, so you can just keep it to yourself. Do not send a negative message to the concern unless that person is your friend, to avoid conflict or quarrel. So that's why we need to verify if the message is true or not, and we should also know the approach to avoid conflict. Mo na yung mga mag-away, no? So factors influencing ethical communication. Kaya ka na mahatod og istorya, so we will avoid that one. And then timing, yes. So you should know the mood. Kung tanaw ni mo gisapot, okay, di sa ka mo approach. And then ethical context. You also have to know the context, the nature. Ethical nature of communication must be considered within the context of who, when, what, and where. So you remember the WH. It is important to know who is speaking to whom, what, and where. So that's why there is a difference when you're going to speak to a friend, a very close friend, to a stranger, or to a family, or to parents, or to your younger siblings. So you should know the situation or context. And then these are now the blunders that I've mentioned. So those that deviate, the principles, the characteristics, okay, that's why there is plagiarism. So this is really a serious offense in the academe. So, and the good thing is that we already have Turnitin or Grammarly. These are the plagiarism software, so they would check if your write-up is plagiarized from an original source. So the only way to avoid this is to cite, not to cite the source. And then selective misquoting. So you also have to avoid that one. You really have to look for the reference, correct reference, to avoid misquoting. Misrepresenting numbers. Yes, you be very careful with figures. If you talk about statistics, so you have to consider the source again and the update. So do not put a figure. If you're not sure of the figure, you better not put it in writing, or you have to check the source. And then distorting visuals. Yes, take note, we already have many apps this time, or even in news stories, you have to really match, the picture, the real picture that would support the article. Okay, not distorted visuals. Let's say, for instance, a person who is chubby, and then it's okay if it's your personal data, but then for uh, journalism or for a news article, to do not distort, no, the visuals, because we're aiming for what's really the fact or the truth. And then we have here, I am sure you already know what plagiarism is. Okay, distorting visuals. Okay, especially if it's promoting a product. So when we're going to take a look at the fried chicken in the picture, in the menu or in the ad, okay, the size is big and then crunchy, very delicious to look at. But then when you taste it, it doesn't taste good, or it's so small. So do not distort, no, the ads. Selective misquoting. Okay, so this refers to the repetition of something someone has said in a way that is not accurate. Be careful. And then I've already mentioned about misrepresenting numbers. Okay, so that's all for my input. And then we'll just look at the course back for the practice and performance. Thank you.